Hello, everyone. Welcome aboard to the fifth episode of the Concord Athletics Senior Spotlight for the fall 2020 semester. My name is Wes McKinney, and today we head to the gridiron as we're joined by offensive tackle Nathan Toney of the football team. Nathan, so great you could join us today.
Great to be here.
So, like we normally do, as is tradition per custom, we always talk about how the athlete got to Concord. And you come from a football family. Your dad played at Glenville State there. I guess back in the late 80s. Your older brother Luther, played for the University of Charleston. He just recently graduated from UC. So obviously a football family. But why was it Concord over, whatever other schools were involved at that time?
Well, I think part of it was Concord was actually my first offer, and I was kind of introduced to them early on, and I loved it from day one.
I mentioned your dad and your older brother played football in college. Was there any other sports involved when you were growing up, or was you always kind of pushed towards football because of your family heritage?
I also played basketball up until my sophomore year of high school, and baseball when I was younger, but it was mostly football. Yeah.
You played at GW High School in Charleston, and obviously there was a little bit of a pipeline already formed here at Concord. Jack Skidmore, Zach Malone, just to name a few. So there's already, I should say, a tradition of getting George Washington Patriots here to Concord. So does that kind of make things a little bit more comfortable for you, knowing that Jack and Zach Malone were already here?
Yeah, absolutely. We had already built friendships, and having people I already knew here, that made it that much easier to make my decision.
Right, and man, you've seen a lot here in your 5 years at Concord. I mean, you were recruited by Coach Justice, right? And then obviously Coach Price and now Coach Walker. So just kind of walk me through that recruiting process, I guess, going all the way back to 2015, 2016?
Yeah. In 2015, actually, at West Virginia University 7-on-7. It's the first time I had met Justice, and he sent me a text and told me he was going to be watching our games. And I was actually walking through the tunnel. It was a really cool experience, and we were talking and walking through the tunnel, and that's whenever he gave me my first offer.
Yeah. So, but when you were in high school, you were a tight end. I actually found your signing picture from that recruiting class, and at GW you wore number 12, which was a far cry from your number 76 that you wear right now. So did you kind of know coming into Concord that you may not be a tight end all 4 years, you may move around a little bit?
Well, Justice initially wanted me to play tight end, but he mentioned it before that I had the frame to play offensive line, and if I could put on the weight, that he might want to move me there. So,
what was that transition like from tight end to offensive line? I mean, obviously sometimes tight ends are blockers for an offense, but obviously there's different things that go into making that transition. So what was that like?
It was a little tough at first, honestly. I played probably a little sooner than I maybe should have. I was a little too light, and I had to put on a lot of weight and I had to do a lot of work to get ready to play the position.
Yeah, you talk about maybe playing a little bit earlier than you were ready for, but you get thrown right into the fire there as a redshirt freshman. Fall of 2017, that season. Don Mahoney's the offensive line coach at the time. Obviously, his pedigree, his resume, one of the best in the business. So what was that like, getting right in there, right into the mix of things as a redshirt freshman playing, starting right tackle, I guess it was?
Yeah, honestly, a little overwhelming at first, but having Mahoney as my coach, it made it way easier for me. He's a fantastic coach, and I loved every second of it. So I wouldn't have wanted to do it with anyone else.
Yeah. Now we need to talk about your offensive repertoire here. Just not blocking, but went back and found it. 2017, West Virginia State at Concord. I think it was the end of September that game was played, or maybe October. Actually, I think it was Concord's homecoming, matter of fact. But anyway, goal to go for the Mountain Lions from about the 2 or 3 yard line, and Nathan Toney takes an end around and finds the end zone on the left pylon there, or just right inside the left pylon. Talk about that play. What went into it? How many times was it practiced? And what was the feeling whenever you know it was going to get called?
We had practiced that play. I think we we had it in the offense for probably 3 weeks. And the week prior, actually, there was a situation where it was going to get called, and we didn't end up calling it. But we practiced it probably, I'd say, at least 4 different times each practice leading up to that moment. And then when it finally got called, it was kind of surreal. I didn't know what to expect, and I was just in the moment doing it. It was a really awesome feeling, though, for sure.
Yeah, so just to kind of dive a little bit deeper into that play, I went back and watched the formation, and I think it was Tywan Pierce went in motion on that play from left to right as a receiver. So just to explain to people that are listening, what made you an eligible player in that play?
Okay, so we actually had brought in another offensive lineman to play tackle, and I actually ended up moving to a tight end spot technically. So it made me eligible for a reverse handoff coming back around the left end towards the pylon.
Perfect. Okay, I'm glad we could clear that up. Now, Nathan, in your 5 years here at Concord, you've seen some really, really good players come through this program, especially on the offensive line. The Mountain Lions have always had a great tradition of offensive line play. I mean, you go back to your redshirt year, Coleman Osborne was here, a former All-Region guy, All-American as well. Derek Dressler, who became a 2-time first-team All-Conference guy, All-Region his senior year. And now last year you get All-MEC honorable mention. Just kind of talk about the evolution of becoming a leader for this offensive line, because you've played so much football in your career now.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier when you see guys like that have paved the way before you, and you've been around them so much, and you kind of just try to mimic what they do, especially in their leadership styles. They're fantastic leaders, and I just try to influence my younger guys the same way they influence me. Try to bring them up the best way I know how. So.
Yeah, a couple more things here for you. A couple of seasons ago, you transitioned from the right side to the left side, and obviously the left side tackle spot is obviously known as being the blind side for all right-handed quarterbacks. So, is there more onus put on you or more responsibility put on you just to play that left side tackle spot?
I guess technically, and a lot of people would see it that way, but I kind of just take it the same way I did when I was on the right side. I just got to do my job the same either way.
Last thing here for you, I'm going to put you on the spot here in your 3 years and coming up on your 4th year here on the offensive line. Who's the toughest guy you've had to play against, and what made it so tough for you?
That is a tough one. I'd say it's probably a tie between 2, and they were both played at UC at the same time. Cousin Daniels, number 6 for UC, and then John Kaminsky from UC. Yeah, those 2 guys. They were 2 different styles too. Cousin Daniels, very speedy guy. Had some of the quickest twitch I've ever gone against coming off the edge. And then obviously John, he's a stronger guy, used his strength and technique. But both of those guys definitely gave me a tough time, especially early on when I was younger.
Yeah, I would say so. Obviously, both of them were in NFL camps, and Kaminsky obviously saw playing time there, a lot of it too for the Atlanta Falcons last year. So I can definitely see why you would pick those 2 out. But Nathan, thank you so much for coming on today, man. And hopefully we get to see you and the rest of the Mountain Lions on the gridiron here in the not too distant future.
Absolutely. Thank you.